Hello. If this video reached your feed, you're probably an artist or a musician. And like most of us, you probably struggle finishing your projects. Because I like clarity and I understand impatience, this is what the video is about. You can click on the chapters or just skip through, but it would be better if you just stuck through and gave me a like. Although the focus is on music, what we'll talk about applies to any artistic endeavor. Let me know in the comments if any of this is helpful to you, and that's it, let's get started. Number 1. Accept nothing we do is perfect. Art takes work, that is, effort applied over time. Although it may seem that many people have innate talent, they do, what we have come to realize is that talent is trainable. But that also means that if you apply yourself, you can get pretty good results, even if you're taking up a skill at a later stage in your life, with little to no external support or motivation. The artistic process deals with evolution, both of the artist and the environment. And with evolution comes imperfection. There's mistakes. Something or someone who evolves, it's gonna realize that there are parts that do not serve any purpose or that are not helpful towards our goal. And becoming conscious of this takes time. It's a lifelong process, but we cannot possibly wait for the right time or until we are 100% ready. That moment is never gonna come.
I'm gonna come.
You can only be brave when you're afraid. So the moment to act is usually the one where there's still a little bit of doubt inside of you. Perfect art does not exist, but indeed the most refined and elevated kind of art occurred during the Renaissance, when the objective was to honor God, and enormous amount of resources and human effort, relative to the time period of course, went into making masterpieces in plastic art, mostly painting and sculpture. In the case of music, it took a little bit longer for the greater composers to show up, as Western music wasn't standardized up until about the 1700s. Mainstream music has a tradition of benefiting from the support structures that may be around it, in the form of economical abundance, producers, tradition, novel technology, special talent, culture, and many others. So there's a bunch of factors that the artist itself cannot control or even contemplate. This is not a video about history, so the point is this. You have a definite amount of time and resources. There's no way you're gonna do everything perfect, so just accept it and enable a margin of error or imperfection. Sometimes that can even allow you to reach new artistic plateaus, or to provide new results that you never expected. For example, distortion was a side effect of cranking an amplifier way too high. It was undesired and unpleasant. Now it's used everywhere in music, even in productions, to make the sound feel warmer or have a more analog or vintage feel to it, to make it sound more natural. So embrace error. It's a part of life. It's gonna happen, so might as well accept it. Number 2. Divide and conquer. An idea that started as a military maxim was formalized with mathematics and is now a fundamental part of problem solving. It's simple. If you have a big problem, for example releasing your shitty true raw black metal project, split it into smaller problems, then aggregate or replicate the solutions. It may sound simple, but we oftentimes make the error of just opening a DAW session and letting the magic happen, or rather let the shit fall where it may. A structured approach can oftentimes make work so much easier and enjoyable, because you can better plan your life around the project, and little by little, while being sure that you will reach your goal, chip away at this massive pile of work that you have ahead of you. Most artistic projects, in this case songs, take more than a single session to get right. So it makes sense to be strategic and to split it into smaller chunks. Let's imagine this problem. You want to release an EP or album or whatever. That's a bit abstract. That focuses too much on the result. and we're not even close yet. We haven't written anything. So let's try dividing it. Write the shit EP, edit the shit EP, and release the shit EP. Now our mind is starting to go places. Those things make sense to us. But we can divide it even further. For example, writing the shit EP becomes figure out what the shit EP is about. Sketch some conceptual ideas around it. Write some lyrics or riffs. Now those are easy enough. You probably do those already all the time. All you have to do is get to work. Splitting projects into small manageable tasks is key and a standard practice in today's age. Still, learning to do it well takes time, but that will come with practice. You can use post-its, checklists, and even a Kanban board, which is simply 3 columns of tasks named to do, doing, and done. Now that we have some tasks, we have to understand what it means to do them. Reasonable commitment, deadlines, and try not to look back. Now that you have some tasks ahead of you, you know that if you cross everything off, you will get the result you want. But beware, when you're switching hats, you were the manager or the boss, now you're becoming the employee. These projects and art are born out of passion, but that doesn't mean that we have to be lenient towards our deadlines and a set schedule. We allow our minds to wander, and we tend to try out stuff without any consequences. This is a trap. You have to be accountable to yourself. You have to set expectations and try your hardest to meet them. You may get stuck in one of the tasks, going over different concepts to base your music out of, and never settling. The way to handle that problem is this. You have already accepted a margin of error. Now accept that you cannot do everything in one go, and that art, like a photograph, is an impression of the moment it was conceived in. That means that whenever you decide on something, you are renouncing something else. You cannot capture everything in one still photograph. If you want to do raw, true black metal, you cannot do new metal. Or, if you want to mix those up, then make the commitment. But don't keep adding more stuff to it. You're gonna ruin it. It's important that you commit to the decisions you make early on, because having to go back makes you waste a tremendous amount of time. Imagine that you have this massive production, and that now you are recording voices. But for some reason, either you or the singer does not like how a certain part feels. Now you have to call the guitarist, the bassist, the drummer, redo the tracks, schedule more studio time, waste more money, and everybody gets demotivated. You don't want that. That's an enormous waste of time and money and resources. And it may be a detonant to leave the project altogether.
Maybe we should talk about next week.
Well, all next week is therapy.
Push forward. You will see that good execution and clear intentions oftentimes beat misguided musings of a disorganized bohemian. We all want to romanticize mess, but think of all those potential artists that failed because they could not commit to their decisions. Sometimes being hesitant in this sense is a symptom of fear. But just face it, embrace it, accept imperfection, accept uncertainty, acknowledge a degree of error, and stick to your guns. Of course, be humble enough to accept suggestions and clear corrections, and fix anything that you can allow yourself to fix. For example, you don't want an out-of-tune bass because it is going to ruin everything, and you'll come out stronger and more confident of your next decisions every time you commit and stick to your plan. Also, set deadlines, even if they sound irrational. For example, just say, guitars must be done by Tuesday. Why? Because I said so. That's why. And that's fine, because that creates a sense of urgency. What separates an amateur from a professional is that the professional charges for his time. Now, taking steps is the right way, but you have to know what direction are you taking. So, make a roadmap. You already have the tasks, and you know that the only way out is through. Just draft a plan and make it happen. While this can vary widely, and this is a very deep subject, my approach to music production even if I'm not an expert, but feel free to copy whatever you want. First, get the idea, usually from playing or from external sources. Record some demos, polish them up, and write what's necessary. Then, record everything for real. Now, edit, mix, and master. Prepare for the release with promotion and stuff like that. And follow up with something, either gigs or whatever you can come up with. It's important that these steps are incremental. That means that they build upon each other. If you go all over the place, you'll get lost and waste precious time and motivation. And that can only end badly because you will realize that there's so much work that you have to do. If you are disorganized, whenever you finish this project, it will be a relief, but then the next will seem impossible. But if you strategize and have a plan, you can refine it and make it better and be excited for the next one. I'm not going to drill into each stage, but if you want, leave me a comment below, and I'll be happy to make a video about whatever you want. Or you can come to the live streams and ask. So, you have a path, you have a road, and in any road, there are obstacles. Embrace and defeat any obstacle. If it were as easy as planning out everything, everyone would be a fantastic artist. It's just a recipe, it's just a checklist. But that's not the case. Just as you have, hopefully, accepted that there will be errors, you must accept that there will be obstacles. Things that get in your way. Maybe it's your schedule, maybe it's your skill ceiling, maybe it's your budget, your equipment breaking down, or maybe something happens in your life that requires your full attention. That can happen, and it's fine. What I'm trying to say is, first embrace it. Then realize that you're not solving world hunger. You're making art, music in this case, and hopefully one project out of dozens you would do. Any problem you may find has a solution. If you can't play the part, change it. Or practice so you can play it well. If something breaks, replace it or find a creative alternative. If a musician doesn't show up, do it yourself. Or hire somebody on the internet or find a friend who can do it for you. Research, ask around. Figure it out, you can do it. You're probably smarter than you think. All great artists have lived through periods of low output because things happen in life. Don't feel guilty if you need to take a break, or if things take an unexpected turn. Having this mindset will prepare you beforehand and protect you from any disappointment that you may find down the line. And you should always know that everything has a solution. So with the work ahead of you, all that remains is volume. And remembering that volume usually beats everything.
I had a mentor way back when I was starting my gyms, and he was like, yeah, we do flyers. That's how we get customers. So I was like, okay, so I'll do some of those. He said, you should try that. So, print out 300 flyers, and, advertising was expensive and I was broke. And so 300 was the appropriate amount of advertising that I could stomach. So I called the mentor back and I was like, hey, you told me to do, think, a decade plus ago, and way more entitlement. I was like, hey, you told me this was going to work. How many did you put out for your test size? And I was like, what do you mean by test size? He's like, well, what was the first batch that you tested on so that you could then scale it? And I was like, well, I put out 300 in total. And he just started laughing. Hard to know if anything works with 300. He's like, well, we test with 5,000. I might have been doing the right thing, but I was not doing nearly enough of it.
Something in you has to wake up. And usually the only person that can wake it up is you. Get up, motherfucker. You're not good enough. You gotta work harder. You haven't put enough time in. You're not putting in the work. You have to do more. You gotta stop telling yourself that you're doing enough. In life, it's never enough until you feel this overwhelming feeling of shit, man. I'm outworking the crowd. I'm outworking everybody. I'm doing more. It's not until then. Once you get there, that's when you know you've done enough.
Look, let's be real. Usually the best way to accomplish something is to relentlessly attempt to achieve it. If you try enough times, eventually you will figure it out. Complete a marathon, even if it's just by walking. Complete an album, you only need about 12 songs, maybe even less. Does it suck? Maybe, but it's probably because you lack the practice. You haven't put in enough hours.
What's your daily routine?
I never practiced, ever. You know, I know it sounds funny, but I never did, because practicing entails repetition, and I never did that. But I did play a lot, and I played hours and hours and hours. I would play on the train, I would play on the bus, I would play in my studio, I would play in my house, fall asleep with the guitar, wake up with the guitar, for years, many years.
You can get there. Many people have. But the main condition, the most important part of all of this is that you have to be brutally honest with yourself. Are you doing the best you can? Are you acknowledging your mistakes and limitations? Are you too lenient with your subpar standard of quality, even if you have the means to achieve a better output? That's important, because if you have a crappy guitar and you don't have any money, then that's that. You cannot do anything about it. You can just work, and you have to eat, right? So let's be real. But when we take shortcuts, we miss out on the best part of the journey, on the most important part of the journey, the struggle. Without the struggle, we do not grow. We do not become the best version of ourselves. Reaching your goal will probably not satisfy you or feel as you thought it would feel, but the experiences will accompany you throughout your whole life. It can all work out. Any obstacle can be defeated, but by far the worst obstacle is yourself, your limitations, your lack of discipline.
I'm retarded?
Don't feel attacked. I only tell you this because I tell it to myself, and I know it to be true. Being bored trains your mind. Being uncomfortable makes you more resilient. Embrace the pain and acknowledge that it won't be easy, because that's the whole point. When you complete the challenge, when you clear the process, you will be a new person. You will be someone different. You would have endured your own demands. You will know your new limits. You will have learned about yourself. And when you know yourself, you get to know the world, and you will do better at it. Make use of the tools you have. Watch tutorials, research, ask people, determine your weak points, and work on them. As an artist, you have to be your biggest fan and your harshest critic. If you do, no one will be able to hurt you. You will already know from head to toe anything anyone may throw your way. Particularly in music, you have to trust your ears, your taste. You may want to record or add a part that makes sense in theory, but it simply doesn't sound good. Or the other way around. Maybe you're missing the technical or theory knowledge to understand what's going on. So if you're not honest to begin with, you'll never realize these kinds of problems. And solving them, it's what sets your project and your art apart from others. Because it becomes a truer version of your expression. If you keep lying to yourself, you will get lost in a forest, blaming others for things only you are responsible for. Now that the ugly part is done, it's important to remember to take breaks. Every once in a while, you will need to take 2 steps back and consume your art. Put yourself in the shoes of the audience. Take your song for a walk, outside your room, outside your studio. Show it to a close friend. Show it to some random person on the internet. Be naive and unaware for a couple of hours. We oftentimes get tunnel vision and we focus too much on the details. While they're important, we don't realize that we miss the big picture. And we may be wasting too much time on little things that probably are not so significant. When seen from apart, the project has to make sense. And if it doesn't, then it probably needs a makeover. Or probably even start from the beginning. Art represents life, but first, you must live your life to have a story to tell. You must fall in love before getting your heart broken and write songs about it. Inspiration and new perspectives are all around us, and they are vital. You must be open to them if you want to be a good artist. There was a time when I had to rewrite 4 songs from the ground up because we were losing direction of the genre we wanted for the band. And those songs didn't even make the light of day. And still, I feel very proud of that work. It's a shame, of course, but we took a step in the right direction instead of getting deeper and deeper into unknown waters. That showed me that it's never too late to make a correction in your course. When on a hike, it's smart to stop for a moment and check out the map to make sure that you're not wandering aimlessly. So, maybe you were expecting something more practical. That would be point 4, but as I said, feel free to let me know what you want to know more about. I may not be the best musician or producer, but I do know my way around art. And oftentimes we ignore just how important it is to get a hold of these concepts. Although they not be mandatory, learning about this stuff does help you find your way as an artist in a world where information is excessive and oftentimes misguiding. So, if you made it this far, thank you so much. Please subscribe to stay in tune with the live streams and all the cool updates we do. We have a lot of fun during the streams, we chat a lot and we make music. Right now we are producing this EP called Love Death. It has 4 songs. It's something like melodic black doom metal with an intention of being listenable, heavy, and complex enough to be interesting. We'll sell it as a digital download and not publish it on streaming platforms. Because screw them, we all know why. So thank you once again, and I'll see you next time, hopefully in the streams. Also, I'll leave you guys some books that deal with this whole subject, if you want to read more about it. They are not in any particular order, but they are great reads that have helped me a lot. So yeah, thank you so much. Bye.